I'm going to go over the July 9th, 2019 updates. Um, if your device is set to auto update, you should have already downloaded this. If not, you can always go to the original email that I sent you that has the Google Play link. Click that link, then click download on Google Play, and then up here at the top where mine says open, yours will say update. And if it just says open, then most likely you automatically updated. You can check version 1.04 is the version that we want to be using. So I'm going to hit open. Not too much difference, just some interface changes for the most part. Um, So on Canvas options, I put a system settings button, and now this has the undo limit and the the megapixel limiter. Those two were on the original or on the Canvas option menu, but they're you only have to answer them once, right? So I don't want them on there every time. Anyway, you can read why these things exist. There's a little explanation. So by default, yours is set at 3, I believe, and 4 for the megapixel limiter. You can set those higher, but your app might start crashing. So you'll usually find out pretty quickly with the undo limit whether or not your device can handle it. Anyway, I'm going to hit cancel, but if you want to change those, just hit save. Didn't change anything different here. I'll go ahead and hit start drawing. So top left corner, I put a reset button. If you hit reset, it's just going to relaunch the canvas. Down bottom left, the image palette. I put these X buttons on all the palettes just to make it easy to shut them down. So here I'm gonna go ahead and load an image. All right, so now when I reposition and then hit toggle, you'll see before I hit it, look at the thumbnail. Take note of the thumbnail. We just see the skull. But now when I hit the toggle button to undo the reposition mode, you'll see that now there's a little square arrow icon. That's just indicating that this image has been repositioned. This will make it a little easier in case in case you've loaded similar source images and you're just trying to differentiate between the ones that have moved and not. Now, if back before, if you held down on this thumbnail, it would push that image to your gallery. These 5 image slots up above. But now, if you hit this button down here, that looks like 3 little squares and an arrow pointing to it. That'll push your repositioned image into the gallery. And now you can see that there's a little icon on it indicating that that image has been repositioned. So this should make it easier when you're trying to like reposition, when you're using something as a draw map, but then you want to use it as the color map all of a sudden. So for instance, if like what I just did there, where I just did a splash of the on the color map, and then I'll shut that off and turn my draw image on, and now I have some kind of hybrid between a, a painting and a drawing. Anyway, so those should make it a little bit easier to move stuff around, a little bit less ambiguous than just having to hold down the thumbnail. Uh, I'll close that out. Nothing new here. I think I put blend mode. I put a label on this. Uh, there is one change, but I'll tell you that at the end. Um, dot size. Okay, so this is bit. This is new. So now this max dot slider on the default position only gets to about this big, which depending on your device is it's going to be about I think 50 pixels wide depending on your device. Well, I mean it's 50 something like that. I don't know. But anyway, if you hit the plus button, it looks like your dot slider just got smaller, but in fact now it pushed it up so you can get the dots even you can get the dots much bigger. Now this isn't a change to the overall dot size. This is just a difference in the way that you get to it. So if you hit this plus button while it's glowing, it's going to shut it off, and now it's easier to make small dots. It's easier to make small differentiations between your small dots. It's more sensitive when the arrow when the plus sign is off, but you put the plus sign on, and now all of a sudden you can get big dots. Just something that I myself was looking for because it's sometimes it's annoying to try to make really small dots. Um, I also included this style. Some of the testers have asked where this style option is, which is on the start canvas. I'll go ahead and restart now that I got that handy button. Anyway, this drop down right here, where you got to pick between medium detail, fine detail, uh, now it exists here too, and it automatically you'll see as I adjust this, it's changing my brush and dot size settings. Um, Pretty cool. Doesn't do too much. Um, Not too much. Nothing was done to this palette. I fixed up some stuff with just these things reconnecting if you hit this lock button. Nothing major. One thing to note is if there's no draw image on, you'll see that the levels is shut off. Um, just so you know, because if there's no draw image on, levels isn't being used at all. So it's better to indicate that. Just like when you have the mask on, then the mask is lit up. But if the mask isn't on, then these controls can't be touched because they weren't doing anything anyway. Nothing new on that palette. Besides, I changed the label to just Ghost Layers instead of Guys and Ghosts. Okay, so one thing because you watched. So I added shadow. So what this does is, let me make the dot bigger. So now it adds this slight little shadow or outline depending on how hard your brush is around the dots. It's kind of like glow. It doesn't really fit in the blend mode palette, but it's just the easiest place for me to put it right now. Kind of neat, kind of stupid, but I kind of like the fact that you can now have like outline dots if you wanted. Uh, all right, I think that's about it. Thank you for testing. I really appreciate it, and thanks for watching.